Hey guys, I'm RNG Gamer. I play all my games randomly. We're in part 2 of my Xbox 360 collection video. If you didn't catch part 1, go back and watch that now. If you did watch it, welcome back. The Xbox 360 is one of my favorite consoles to collect for. It has tons of unique and kind of rare and obscure games that are just not on anybody's radar, so you can get them for really cheaply right now. We're going into the letter G, so hopefully you see something you didn't know about or maybe something you want to pick up. This is like the second biggest franchise behind Halo on the Xbox series. Everybody really enjoyed this when it came out, and I really enjoyed it too. I thought the first game was really cool. Had a beautiful art style to it, and it kind of had like a horror theme to it, and it was fun. It was one of the first cover third-person shooters I ever played, and I enjoyed it. It's Gears of War. Everybody played this game. Everybody played it. You play as Marcus Phoenix. He's this huge hulking monster of a man. And you're shooting down these, like, I guess aliens that have invaded Earth or whatever. You're trying to recapture Earth in the near future. I thought it was a really fun game. I enjoyed it. Spun off into a whole huge franchise that we still have to this day. Gears of War 2, of course, I thought was even better. I really enjoyed this one a lot. I mean, what can you say? It's more of a good thing. Here's Gears of War 3. I played this co-op with a good buddy, and I hate to admit that maybe I had imbibed a little bit too much recreational potables that day, and I don't remember the end of this game. After all these like big set pieces we had in the Gears of War series, I get to the big ending and like I just don't remember what happened. I remember like crouching behind a column while he did all the work. Anyway, I went back and watched the ending of it, and I think it was a good like ending to a really good game series. And the Gears of War games have a pretty decent story to go along with the fun gameplay. Of course, Epic Games didn't want to let go of like free money with the Gears of War franchise. They put out this like spin-off game, Gears of War Judgment, where you play as one of the minor side characters from the other games. It's more of the same. It's a third-person cover shooter, but this is kind of like arena trial-based. It was all right. It wasn't nearly as good as the other ones, and it had like almost a non-existent story. Or maybe they were like, the characters were going through training or something. I don't remember. This one's pretty forgettable, honestly. I mentioned in another video, there are a ton of really great region-free Japanese import shoot-em-ups on the Xbox 360. It was supposed to be like the shoot-em-up console before Microsoft of US shut down what Microsoft of Japan was doing. They're like, we want everything to be Gears of War. We don't want stuff like this. This is Ginga Force. This is kind of a mixture of a shoot 'em up and an RPG, where as you play through these levels, you earn credits and you buy permanent upgrades for your ships to slowly get stronger over time. This is really fun. I played this when it originally came out and put some time into it and beat it. I wanted to go back and play it again and like unlock everything, but I messed up. This is in Japanese and I accidentally ended up overwriting my save game. So I lost all my progress. At that point, I was like kind of done with it. Anyway, check out Ginga Force. This is a fun game. Be careful though when you save your game that you don't like accidentally overwrite your previous save. This is one of my favorite games of all time. It was the first game that I played on the Xbox 360 that like blew my mind and honestly turned me back into a gamer. It's Grand Theft Auto 4. I thought this was great. I loved Nico Bellic as the main character, and I really loved Liberty City as an environment. Up to this point, I'd never really like played much of a GTA game before. Driving around and experiencing the city and listening to music on the radio and everything was so much fun. The city really felt alive, and I loved this game. I think it's a 10 out of 10 game. And it had 2 really good DLC packs that I played and 100%ed as well. And I was excited to see that they came out on the Complete Edition. So I picked that up. Here it is. Here's GTA 4 with the episodes from Liberty City pack. And this has the Lost and the Damned and the Ballad of Gay Tony DLC packs on them. I said I wanted to have those physically, even though I did play them digitally when they came out. It's nice to have, you know, physical copies of everything. Obviously, look behind me, I like the physical stuff. And of course, I had to pick this up when it came out. This is one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game of all time. GTA 5. This time we're in Los Santos. We have 3 main characters. All 3 characters are incredible. The story missions in this are wonderful. It's another 10 out of 10 game. I cannot decide if I like this better than GTA 4 though. They're neck and neck. It's hard. I think this is probably a better game, but I don't know that it was as impactful on me as GTA 4. Also, this game made me a couple $1,000s. And if you want to know how, consider becoming a channel member. There's an exclusive video on my channel just for the members where I talk about how I made a couple $1,000s with GTA 5. Up next, we have a game series that was like a cultural phenomenon. And many of you know I'm like a semi-professional guitarist or even a professional guitarist at times. And I really loved this series and I played through a ton of it. Although I'm really rusty these days, at the time I was really good at it. I've picked all these up over the years, but I have not played them all. We have Guitar Hero 2. I played a lot of this when it came out. I was still in college. Guitar Hero 3, which I loved and like beat everything on expert. However, man, the trophies or the achievements in this game are really tough. Guitar Hero World Tour, I can't remember if I played this one or not. In my head, these all just kind of bleed together, but I'm sure I actually did play it. Anyway, more of the same. This one I have not played. It's Guitar Hero Smash Hits. Has a lot of banger songs on here. I see like it's got The Sword and it has Rush and Queen and Pantera. Man, great stuff. Anyway, very cool. This one I did play. It's Guitar Hero Metallica. I feel like I played a ton of Metallica over the years, but I'm glad that they have a lot of guests on here that Metallica picked, like Mastodon and, you know, Caius and Foo Fighters and Bob Seger. Honestly, by the time I got to this, I was getting kind of burned out on it. And like everybody, the last one that came out was the Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock. This is really where everybody kind of hit their, I guess, they became a little overly full of Guitar Hero. They were done with it at this point. I have not played this one yet. I picked this up like later at a, you know, a GameStop for cheap or something like that. But I still have a couple of these I need to play. I like Guitar Hero. I think it's better when you play it occasionally and don't worry about like trying to perfect it because it'll wear you out. And it's harder to play now on flat screen TVs because there's like input delay than it was back when I first started and everybody was playing it on like CRTs and I was playing it on like a projection TV. So I felt like it was easier back then. I don't know that maybe my dexterity was better as a guitarist back then, but it's fun. You've played Guitar Hero before. Everybody's played it. So I'm happy to have those. Here's another franchise that everybody's played, everybody knows about. I'm not huge into it, and honestly I haven't played a lot of it. I have the Master Chief Collection on the Xbox One and I want to go back and play these and like see if I can get into the franchise, but they're in the backlog. I haven't gotten to them yet. So Halo 3, I played this one online a good deal. I was actually pretty decent at this online. Plays Master Chief. I beat the co-op, or I beat the campaign in co-op with like 3 other people on legendary difficulty, but like they had already played it a bunch of times and they kind of like rushed through it, so I never felt like I experienced it. So this is back in the backlog to play again. Halo 3 O.D.S.T, which was like a spin-off of the series. Also have not played this at all. It's in the backlog. I'll get to it. Halo 4, I played co-op with a good buddy of mine and we enjoyed it. We did beat it, but we didn't play it on Legendary. We just like played the normal campaign and honestly, I don't really remember anything about it. Like, it's just kind of forgettable. I know this is when 343 Studios took over from Bungie. So maybe that had something to do with it. I can't remember if this is back in the backlog to try again or not. And this one, I picked up new on release day and I played through it and I really enjoyed it. I do remember playing this one. I remember the really cool ending of it and I remember a lot of the environments and I liked Halo Reach a lot. This is really one of the only Halo games that are really the only Halo game I have like any good memories of that are like ingrained in my brain. I don't know if Halo is going to be something I like fall in love with. Let me know if you really like the Halo franchise or if you think it's like overrated. In my mind, whenever I play Halo, it honestly, even though like they're rated mature, they kind of feel like a Saturday morning cartoon. Like the Covenant's like real silly and like, I don't know. I want to love it, but like I just kind of, I need to spend a little bit more time with it. This is another medieval co-op game. I played this with my roommate at the time and we made it really far and he got so like pissed at the game he quit and I ended up finishing it by myself. And let me tell you, it's a lot harder when the enemy or when the AI is controlling your co-op partner, but it's Hunted the Demon's Forge. There's 2 characters, the girl and the guy, and the girl's like a magic range user. She has like bows and arrows and spells and he's like a melee combat guy. It was pretty forgettable, but I thought it was like an okay game. It was worth finishing, and I was happy to have it. I feel like this one might be kind of hard to find one day, but then again, it might just be like a bargain bin game forever. I played 2 games in this series, and it's like one of the most popular game series in the world, and I I don't care about playing it. I'll play it with my daughter, that's it. But it's Lego, the Lego Indiana Jones games. I played a little bit of this. You play as Lego Indiana Jones running around these environments and you do various tasks and break things apart and collect Lego stuff. I mean, I like Legos, guys. I played with them as a kid and I like Indiana Jones, but I don't like either one of them enough to want to play a game on them. I know people love these, but like, I mean, this one I played, and I played Lego Worlds on the Wii or the PS4, and that game like is terrible. So I'm really turned off to it. I just also don't really like movie tie-in games, and all the Lego games are like tie-ins to movies. So I don't know, man. Maybe is Lego City Undercover? That's like a GTA kind of game. Is that one good? Let me know if Lego City Undercover is good. That's the only one I've ever really wanted to play. Here's a Suda51 game. I kind of consider him like the Quentin Tarantino of video game directors. It's Killer is Dead. And I thought this is a really cool kind of action, mystery, exploratory game. He did this. He did Killer 7. He did Lollipop Chainsaw. Like all those weird games. I enjoyed Killer is Dead, but of all the games of his I played, it's the one that like I remember the least. I did finish it. I remember sitting in the room and playing it, and I remember some parts of the game, but I don't remember much about like the combat at all. But I remember thinking it was a pretty decent game. It was like a kind of a 7 out of 10 sort of game. This is my favorite fighting game franchise of all time. This one was published by Atlas. I have almost all of these, but one on like the legit Neo Geo. But this is the only modern one I have, and it's the King of Fighters 13. King of Fighters, like I said, is my favorite one-on-one fighting game. I really like the characters a lot, and I can actually play it fairly well. This is competitively the game I would have like the best chance at doing okay at. I mean, not King of Fighters 13 specifically, but the King of Fighters series. I know like most of the moves. The only other game where I know most of the moves is like Street Fighter, maybe some Mortal Kombat, but those games progress so much. I feel like King of Fighters basically is just more of the same every time, and it gets a little bit more difficult or a little bit more, what's the right word? Not difficult, but complex. It's a little bit more complex on each release, but not so much that you're overwhelmed. I thought this was a really decent open world hack and slash action RPG. It was done by EA. It's called Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, and I believe they re-released this on the PS4 maybe. I had a good time with this game, and I thought it was fairly decent. The claim to fame with this game was that like some state, like where they made the game, like Maryland, like gave a grant to the developers of the game to put it out, and then it kind of like flopped. And the state didn't like get its money back or something like that. So like the state of Maryland or whatever state like owns the rights to this game. It's very strange, but I thought it was a pretty decent game. Like I said, it's been re-released. I would recommend this. It was not a masterpiece, but it was a lot of fun, and I did finish it. This came out shortly after GTA 5, or was it right before? Anyway, it was published by Rockstar, but I believe that Team Bondi did it. It was kind of like a GTA kind of game set in the 1930s or 40s, and it was a murder investigation game, and it's LA Noire. And the claim to fame with this one was that they used all this incredible technology to do like facial capture, and the faces looked more realistic than any video game of all time. Including when they talked, it looked real, and as you were interrogating people, you were supposed to like read their facial expressions, and it was kind of like, I mean, the facial expressions were really hammed up. So there wasn't a lot of nuance to it, but it did look good, and I thought the game was pretty fun. It wasn't as fun as GTA, because you're a cop, so you gotta be like straight-laced the whole time. I did like in the investigation sections of the game, where you're investigating like the crime scene and finding clues and stuff. I thought it was a pretty decent game, but not one of Rockstar's best. This was an early RPG on the Xbox 360 done by Square Enix. I picked it up really cheaply, you can see here, for $6.29. It's The Last Remnant. It has a cool holofoil cover, even though the cover's kind of dumb with just this dude on it. Like, I know nothing about this game. I picked it up because it was cheap. I mean, what are you going to do? You pick up cheap RPGs. Why not? I have not played this. It's in the backlog. Let me know if it's any good down in the comments. I really liked playing these games. I played them co-op with friends. I played them some online. And if you asked me to sit down and play them with you today, I would like do it. These are cooperative survival zombie first-person shooters. Like, I don't know what else to call them. Done by Valve. Valve did these. It's Left 4 Dead. It's so much fun. It's supposed to be like a movie. You go through these 4, I guess, different scenarios, and you're trying to get from safe room to safe room and survive with these co-op partners. And this is even fun, like, offline with the bots playing your partners. These are tough games, but I enjoyed them a lot. And to go with it, of course, you have Left 4 Dead 2. This came out really soon after Left 4 Dead 1, like within a year, and people were upset about that. They're like, I need more time to play Left 4 Dead 1. I don't remember that ever happening with any other game. Normally people are like clamoring for the next release, but this time they're like, we're not ready for this yet. And of course now we're waiting for Left 4 Dead 3, but you know, Valve, they never put out a third game ever. Mentioned this one earlier, another Suda 5-1 game. It's Lollipop Chainsaw. What's her name? Is it Juliet Starling? I think it's Juliet Starling. And her boy was turned into a zombie. She cut his head off and he becomes like basically an accessory for her. But it's a hack and slash game. The controls are a little clunky. Juliet was a good character, but this game's very over the top and zany, just like every Suda 5-1 game. I enjoyed this one. I'm pretty sure it's getting a remake like any minute. So maybe I'll try it again when it comes back. I hope it has some extra content and gets cleaned up a little bit in terms of like the gameplay style. Never played this. I don't know anything about it. I've never played any game from this franchise. I don't know why I picked this up. I must have found it at a pawn shop. But it's Lord of the Rings, War of the North. It says on the back that it's like experience a new story, create your own fellowship, and brutally realistic combat. I don't know. I see the developers on the back and I don't know who they are. Let me know if this is any good. Did anybody out there ever play this? Lord of the Rings, War in the North. There we go. Snowblind Studios? What did Snowblind Studios make? Can't think of anything. I don't know that developer. This is a huge epic JRPG that came out kind of early in the Xbox 360's life, and I liked this a lot. It is on 4 DVDs. It's Lost Odyssey. It's pretty cool. It has some interesting characters and a really nice story that takes place over like a long time period. But the claim to fame with this is that the main character is immortal. He can't die. So he can like take down a whole army by himself. When he gets like hacked apart, he just comes back. So as I recall with this one, most of the game you just can't lose. So you just get to experience the game, which I found to be really refreshing. However, early in the game, there is like one boss that kept wiping me. I had a really hard time with this one boss, and after I beat it, the rest of the game was like smooth sailing, but a lot of people were complaining about that one boss being hard. It might be before the guy like regains his memories and knows he's immortal or something. I can't remember. I don't remember. This is a really good RPG. It was like an 8 out of 10 kind of RPG. I played this a little bit. I never really got into it. It was done by Capcom. I think they were trying to start up a new franchise, and I believe they did like 3 games in the series, but this one did not grab me. It grabbed me enough to pay $1.79 for it. But it's Lost Planet. It's a snow third-person action-adventure game. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like Bionic Commando, but I just couldn't get into this one. Like I said in the previous video, when the Xbox 360 started like getting cleared out at GameStop and stuff, I wanted to find all the games that I thought would be rare and collectible, and this might be one of them. It's Magna Carta 2. And I know Magna Carta 1 came out on the original PlayStation 2. Came out on the original PlayStation 2. It came out on the PlayStation 2. I've never played it, like I said, but I'm looking forward to this one. It's been in the backlog for a good long while. Hopefully it comes up sooner than later. I'm in the mood to kind of play a JRPG that's good. The last few I've played, I gave up on. They weren't really like, I wasn't having a good time with them. But maybe this one will be great. It's another region-free cave shoot 'em up. This, I think, is my favorite shoot 'em up of all time. I think it's one of the best of all time, and the shoot 'em up community out there pretty much agrees with me. It's Mushihimesama Futari, and this version on the Xbox 360 plays great. It's almost arcade perfect. I think it was done by M2, ported. It's really fun. She's a bug princess, and she has her little buddy down here. I forget his name, but the gameplay is unbelievable. It's a lot of fun. It's really hard. It's one of the hardest games of all time, without a doubt, especially on like ultra mode. I was able to 1 credit clear it on normal. It took me 2 months of constant practice, but I was able to do it. And I have video evidence of it, and I'm very happy about that. Fantastic game, a lot of fun. It's a range mode, is just as fun. It's a lot easier and doable. And I don't have enough good to say about this game. I think it's wonderful. 10 out of 10 game all day. I got this game on GameFly, so I like rented it and played it, and I couldn't figure out how to play it, and I kept dying right at the beginning. I did not have a good time with it, but I ended up picking up later on the greatest hits version for $20 and really enjoyed it a lot. It's my favorite in the series, and I might be like the only one that feels that way, but it's Mass Effect. It's one of the few BioWare games that I really enjoyed. I liked the characters, I liked the exploring, I liked the combat. I thought it was a really great game. Now, a lot of people consider this to be the best in the series, Mass Effect 2. I didn't think it was as good. I didn't like the characters as much. I thought the story was kind of forgettable. The combat was basically the same. Yeah, this one, I thought it was a really good game, but I didn't like it as much as the first. And of course, Mass Effect 3. This one I played, and I finished all of these. This one I thought was about not quite as good as number 2, but not as bad as everybody said. The endings were like lame. And everybody was kind of like, well, I made all these choices that they didn't matter at the end. I don't care about choices in a game. I'd rather just like have the writers of the game come up with a good ending independent of my choices. Like I want to experience a good ending. Like I don't care that my choices had anything to do with it. I'm not a story writer. It's not my job to craft a good story. Very rarely do I think like, well, what would have happened if I had picked this? I'm like, no, just tell me what happened. You write a good engaging story and I'll experience it. Don't make me put in the work to like help write a story. And don't split your story into like 5 different endings that are slightly different from each other just to add more content. Like, ugh. I know I'm in the minority there, but that's how I feel. I played the other 2 games in this series and really liked them. I played them on the original Xbox, I believe. It's Max Payne 3. This game looked incredible at the time. I'd never seen a game that looked as good as this. It's a third-person shooter. Max Payne is, he's like a drug addict, alcoholic. He's working as a bodyguard instead of a detective in this one. But the catch is that it has like bullet time mechanics. So Max Payne can like pop a pill and go in slow motion and shoot down all the people midair. Anyway, I thought this was a fantastic game and kind of a forgotten about game. People don't talk about it much anymore. This is like an open world action game similar to GTA, kind of set in a jungle with mercenaries and like guerrillas, and it's called Mercenaries 2. And I enjoyed this a lot. I finished it and played all the way through it and had a good time with it. After beating this, I went back and played Mercenaries 1, which was not nearly as good. I don't think I finished it. I gave up in it like maybe after 5 or 6 hours. But I did finish this and I thought it was like a 7 out of 10 game. It's a really common game on the system, but you can have some good fun with it. This game was really expensive for a long time till they re-released it on the PS4. I played it a little bit. It's a first-person survival horror game, kind of, or another one of these spooky shooters. I just couldn't get into it on the 360, but I picked it up on the PS4 and it's back in my backlog. I'll play it over there. It's Metro 2033. This is like a post-apocalyptic, futuristic, like I said, first-person shooter that takes place in Russia. And everybody's like living down in the sewers. There's like monsters everywhere and bullets are your currency. So there's like a lack of bullets in the future. There are no more factories making bullets. So that's kind of the gimmick to the game. And I remember it being very spooky and interesting. I don't know why I couldn't get into it before. I hope the second time around I like it better. I played this when it first came out. I thought it was a really decent game and I enjoyed it on the Xbox 360 when I played it. And I wanted to get a physical copy of it when it came out to put on the shelf. So I was like, oh, this will be good and memorable. And, you know, I want my daughter to know about this. Little did I know every daughter in the world and every son in the world will be playing this game 20 hours a day, every day for the rest of their life. It's flipping Minecraft. Mine's sealed, like I said. I wanted to keep just a copy to put on the shelf. If you don't know about Minecraft, I don't know where you've been. Everybody knows about Minecraft. I'm really tired of Minecraft. I play it with my daughter all the time. I don't really want to play it anymore. It's chores the game. That's what Minecraft is, chores the game. I already do enough chores. But here's a sealed copy of it on the Xbox 360. Like I said, I wanted to keep it as a relic and a good memory. And now I'm like, I want to get rid of this. I don't ever want to look at it ever again. I thought this was a really cool first-person parkour game, almost like a hidden gem. It didn't really get much fanfare when it came out, and I thought it was decent, and I finished it. It's Mirror's Edge. EA never put out a sequel to this, but they did like a pseudo-sequel remake called Mirror's Edge Catalyst that they put out on the PS4, and that game is garbage. I hated that game. This one was a lot of fun. Very refreshing and new. I don't think it ever needed a sequel or a remake. So this is the one I recommend. The one on the PS4, not so much. I picked this up at a pawn shop somewhere. I've not played this. I don't know anything about it. It's like Mortal Kombat. What do they call it? The Complete Edition? I think this is Mortal Kombat 11. That's what people call this. Anyway, I never played it. I haven't played any of the new modern Mortal Kombat games. So I'm looking forward to this one, but you know, I'll get to it when I get to it. There's no rush. Everything's random anyway. Even if there was a rush, I couldn't do anything about it. This is a really hard to find and rare and obscure import. It's another one of these region-free shmups done by Cave. It's a combo pack of 2 of their more obscure games. This is the Muchi Pork Pink Sweets combo pack. Muchi Pork is a vertical scrolling shooter with like a pig theme and plus-sized women kind of theme. I don't know what to say about it. I didn't think it was very great. Over here is Pink Sweets, which is a gothic Lolita if they were in like a toy candy factory theme. So it's like a weird mix of like darkness and overly lightness. Pink Sweet's claim to fame is that the arcade is so hard No one ever won credit cleared it for like 20 years. It took 20 years before somebody did it, and really the only way to beat it was to like do an infinite lives glitch towards the end of the game. It's the same case on here, but there's an arrange mode where they readjusted the gameplay, and it's a lot of fun. It's like a 9 out of 10 experience, which makes Pink Suites one of my like favorite cave games. I really like it a lot, the arrange mode anyway. This one's hard to find. There was a short period where the only copy of this on eBay was like $800. I don't know what it's like anymore. It's not that high, but it's still a hard one to find. This is the one and only football game other than Blood Bowl I have on it. It's NCAA Football 2009. I played this with my friends. We had a good time with it. I enjoy American football, you know, pretty well, but I don't want to play it every year. This is like the one I played, and I'm like, that's good. That's good for me. I'll probably play the new NCAA when it comes out if it's decent. Everybody says this is like the best Need for Speed game ever. It's Need for Speed Most Wanted. What I didn't like about this game were that you have to like square off against these rivals and race these rivals, and as you win more and more races, you move up to like the next rival. You have to complete all these weird challenges to like unlock the next rival, and I didn't like doing the challenges. And I kind of, as I recall, this is in like in an open world, and I didn't like that either. I thought I was just driving around all the time, wasting time. So Need for Speed Most Wanted was like supposed to be a pretty decent game, and I just didn't like it that much. I have it on the PS2, and I played it there and thought it was okay, so I bought the Xbox 360 version of it, and after I got a few more hours into it, I was kind of like, whatever. So let me know if you like this one. I'm not the biggest fan of the Need for Speed games. Played the sequel to this. This has just gotten a re-release. I love this series. It's a spin-off pseudo-sequel to the Drakengard series, and this is NieR. I got 100% completion in this. Never played anything like it. It is a action RPG mixed with like side-scrolling and shmup mechanics and all kinds of weird stuff from, I believe, Platinum Games did this. It has like 26 different endings. I got all the different endings. I would never normally do that, but I loved this game. I think it's magnificent. I kind of want to get like I think it's called NieR Replicant. There are two versions of this in Japan. One where you play as like the old dad, or the one where you play as the younger brother. The re-release here that they had, you play as the younger brother, which I've never played, but I'm pretty sure it's the same game. Anyway, as a dad, I kind of liked playing as a dad. So, fantastic game, 10 out of 10 game. You gotta play NieR. This is one of the first games I ever played on the Xbox 360. I played it on my buddy's Xbox 360, and I beat it. It's one of these games where you beat it as like, you beat it once and you unlock another character, and then you beat it as that character, and then you unlock another character. I beat it with like 3 or 4 characters at his house, and then when I tried to play it again on my own years later, I was like struggling with it, and I don't know what was wrong with me. Maybe I need to play it again, but it's 99 Nights, and this is a Musou game where it's like one character, you know, versus an army, kind of like the Dynasty Warrior series, but supposed to be pretty okay. I remember being just kind of like okay, although I did like the characters. Maybe I should try it again. Maybe not. Let me know what you think. I didn't even know that FromSoft did this game. This is like a spinoff, or not a spinoff, like a heavily influenced action game, influenced by like Ninja Gaiden, and it's Ninja Blade, and mine's semi-sealed. I mean, it's torn here at the bottom, but it's still in the cellophane, and it's a little sun bleach. This is supposed to be green. It's kind of blue. Anyway, like I said, it's heavily influenced by Ninja Gaiden, and this is supposed to be fairly decent, although when it came out at the time, I passed on it because it got like kind of mediocre reviews. So I don't know how to feel about this. I picked it up from my buddy. It was on my wish list, and this is one of those games towards the end of the Xbox 360's life that like I wanted to pick up some of the ones that looked more interesting kind of cheaply. And I think I paid $8 for this. This one might be a super heavy hitter one day. It already is kind of one of the rarest games on the system. It's done by Atlas, and it's Operation Darkness. And this is a tactical RPG where you play against like Hitler and werewolves and stuff. It has all the recipes of being rare. Like, done by Atlas, it's an RPG, it's tactical, it has like taboo stuff like Hitler, it has horror elements with werewolves and vampires and things like that. I mean, this isn't like a sought after multi-$100 game one day. I don't know what else is. So if you can find this one, it's not too much, pick it up. I've played a few games in this series. It's a mindless hack and slash game with girls in bikinis. I think it's pretty fun. It's Oni-chanbara Bikini Samurai Squad. And I finished this one. You can see on the back just what kind of game this is. It is hack and slash, button mashing, bikini killing fun. Like that's what it is. I enjoyed it. I played the one on the PS4 too, and it was a great time. So This one, pick it up if you can find it somewhere cheap. I remember finding this at a pawn shop for $1. This, for the longest time, was like the biggest bang for the buck you could get on the Xbox 360. It's the orange box. So this has Half-Life 2, and it's 2 episodes, episode 1 and episode 2. We never got episode 3. This also contains Team Fortress, which is a really popular online game. But this is where I first played Portal, which is one of the best first-person shooters of all time. If you can even call it that. It's a first-person puzzle game. Great atmosphere, great story, great characters. And this is my first time playing Half-Life 2 or any of its episodes. Anyway, I played everything on this like crazy. Finished Portal, got all the achievements. Played Half-Life 2 and the 2 episodes. I don't think I got all the achievements on it, but I played them a lot and finished them. And I played a little bit of Team Fortress 2, but I kind of like got my butt handed me on that. Still a great package to have. This is Konami's kind of like spin-off of the Gradius series. It's the Odamedius series. It's supposed to be like sexy Gradius, like Otami mixed with Gradius, I guess, is what it's supposed to be. This is Odamedius Excellent. It was not very good. It was not very sexy. It was really slow and boring for like a horizontal shoot 'em up. But it was released in the United States, and I was happy to see Konami put out a game, and you know, I buy like every physical shmup that comes out, so I had to grab this one too. Although I was pretty disappointed with it the first time, and the second time around I played it, I was even more disappointed. So this one's not great, but if you can pick it up somewhere cheap, it might be worth like an afternoon of fun. And this one was another game I rented on GameFly, and I played it a little bit. I couldn't get into it. It kind of reminded me of like Pikmin, but like medieval horror themed. It's called Overlord. You play as this guy, he's a bad guy, and he has all these like little gremlin helpers like in Pikmin. Like I said, when the Xbox 360 was kind of like dying out, I decided to pick it up, you know, not only for the memories, but this might be fun to play one day. I don't remember if this is back in the backlog or not. Anyway, I paid $7 for it. Well, all right, guys, that's part 2 of the video. Thank you so much if you stayed around this long. Part 3 of the video is going to come out in 2 days. So this is coming out on a Monday. That'll come out on Wednesday, so watch that, please. And once again, if you made it this far, please like the video, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know when the videos come out. They come out every Saturday. And if you really, really enjoyed the video, consider becoming a channel member. You get early access to the videos, and if you want to spend a little bit more, you get member exclusive videos. You can get your name read out at the end of a video or listed at the end of a video, or you can even sponsor a segment. Or if you're really a high roller, you can pick a game out of my backlog for me to review, and I'll dedicate the review to you. So stick around for part 3, guys. I really appreciate it.